You're listening to Puma Podcast.
Hi, I'm Tatiana Maligro Puma Podcast, and you're listening to Teka Teka. Filipinos are definitely in their skincare era, with a study by DSG Consumer Partners finding that more younger Filipinos are investing in skincare rather than makeup to achieve their desired looks. But with so many skincare products on the market and tips from beauty influencers, it's hard to distinguish between helpful tips and bogus advice. So sino nga ba ang pakikinggan natin? Another Puma Podcast show, Project Vanity hosted by Liz Lanuzo, helps us navigate the oversaturated skincare market and beauty scene with the help of dermatologist Dr. Erin Tababa Santos. Have a listen.
Hi everyone, this is Liz Lanuzo, the host of the Project Vanity podcast. Today we have Doc Erin Tababa Santos, a celebrated dermatologist, also known as the Nerdy Derma on social media. She's gone viral for basically educating all of us Filipinos on how to have better skincare habits. Hi Doc Erin, how are you?
Hi Liz, good afternoon. I'm doing good.
I guess my first question would be, how did you decide to become a dermatologist?
All right. It's a little bit of a story. So for context, I have a major spine issue, like something to the level that I can be paralyzed waist down, something like that. So I originally wanted to go to OBGYN. So it's a surgical field. It's very physically taxing. And I tend to be very involved with my patients. So if they're not okay, I'm also not okay. And then it made me realize sa ganong field, sobra kong masistress. And also, it's not going to be okay for my body because most probably I won't be able to sustain it. And then right before I submitted my application form, I saw the small box there, dermatology. So it was a spur of the moment decision. But meron siyang basis kasi I'm really good like with visuals. I tend to remember things super, super fast if I see it. And I have an eye for detail. So I said quality of life. Tapos, it works with my strong suits in terms of the medical field. So I decided I'll go for dermatology. That's it.
Okay. Would you say that different dermatologists have different philosophies when it comes to treatments? Or is it all the same? Like, this is what science says is right, and so this is what we're going to do? Or do you think that different dermas have their own set of beliefs or set of treatments that for them works the best?
Very interesting question. So there's what we call gold standard. The gold standard means that's the best medicine you can give to get the best outcome. Not all diseases have gold standards. For example, when the nail separates from the plate and there's no infection, it just separates and we can't find any pathologic cause for it. Wala kaming maibibigay na sure ako gagaling yan pag binigay ko tong medicine na to. So yun yung walang gold standard. So one of the most common concerns in derm clinics, of course, is acne. And acne has gold standard medication. Short of not saying good stuff about colleagues, mas maganda sana if everyone is updated in terms of what's evidence-based. Kasi that's what's most efficient, that's what's safest, that's also what's proven to work. Now, unfortunately, not everyone follows it. It could be because they prefer to choose a different medication, not out of like, I won't give this to you. So, hindi naman ganon. More of, baka hindi sila updated. So, things like that. Not naman to badmouth, pero merong gold standard and ideally everyone follows it. Kaso, that's not the case.
I feel like here in the Philippines, Filipinos don't go to the doctor until it's really, really bad. Like, we don't go to the doctor for maintenance. We don't have that attitude towards consulting medical professionals. Usually we'd go to a doctor when it's so bad na, it hurts so much, or it's really affecting your quality of life in some way. And I feel like this applies especially for dermatologists. Na parang,
Yes.
You'll go online, especially on the Project Bandy community, we get so many questions like, oh, I have this rash, I have this really bad thing on my back or something on my face, but they would prefer to ask strangers on the internet than to see a doctor first. Do you think this exists, number one? And why do you think it exists?
Hard, yes, definitely it exists. And we have this exercise in UP College of Medicine. So when you're a first year medical student, there's this thing wherein there's going to be a story Ang pangalan ng kid is si Rosario. Tapos si Rosario, she's sick. And I think at the end of the story, she eventually succumbs to her illness. And the whole exercise is you have to ask bakit until you get to the root cause of why Rosario died. And in that exercise, you'll find out na hindi lang siya as simple as parang gustong makatipid. That's a really good example you brought up, yung why people ask medical questions sa social media or sa online forums. So bakit nila gagawin yun? They want to save money. That's one reason. Why do they want to save money? They have other basic necessities. So in the Philippines, the skin is considered like pampaganda lang yan. So unless mamamatay ka na or something sugat na sobrang intense na sugat, they would prefer to wait it out. So they would prefer to spend that money. For example, basic necessities, food, shelter, transportation. There's also the factor of time. So sa doctors, aminado tayo dyan na me and my colleagues, we are sometimes late. So if a patient commits to a consultation, he or she has to spend a significant amount of time. Either you have to take a leave from office, so that's another cost. Apart from finances, it's also the time. And then it's a possibility na they're scared na hindi naman siguro seryoso yun, so baka hindi ko kailangan magpa-check. And then there's also the stigma na yung mga derma, resetahan lang ako, tapos hindi naman gagaling. So all of those, they all contribute to what's going on. And ang gusto ko lang sabihin sa listeners na if you really want to spend money, instead of self-medicating, you just go for a consultation. Kasi if you self-medicate, you spend so much and then it's not targeted. You may get the side effects. And if you apply a cream, which is not supposed to be applied, it may make it more difficult to make the diagnosis. So, lalong tatagal.
Also, I mean, the studies, diba? Ang daming news about that, looking into research, studies, and things like that. Pero
yes,
a lot of the time, these studies can also be compromised. So, they're not the most reliable thing. So, I am all for seeing a professional for sure. So I'm curious, your industry, what do you think are common myths peddled by supposed experts? There are a lot of things that lay people like me believe, or parang we just take it as collective wisdom, right? But what do you see are common misconceptions that even experts supposedly online have and share to their followers?
Nako. Where do I begin? So, siguro sa consumer side of things, and I can't really fault yung mga consumers, they place so much trust on skincare. I mean, I love skincare if you use it correctly, but it's a vicious cycle. So let's say there's a certain toner and the toner markets itself. Get rid of acne in 1 week. If you're a consumer and you have breakouts, and you don't want to consult with a derma, you see that advertisement. Oh my gosh, I want to use that. I want to buy that. And then they'll try that. And then they'll keep trying. Their breakouts don't go away. And then they see another serum claiming, okay, dry your acne spots overnight. And then they buy that. So I think that the consumer has to put pressure on brands to be more honest in terms of their marketing strategies. And brands should be more responsible, and they should advocate for their consumers and not rely on overclaims or false advertising to sell their product. So my point is, because of that cycle, patients then rely on skincare instead of actual medication to treat their concerns, which is what your experience was. So that's the first one. Now, in terms of the physicians, oh my gosh, Liz, I unlearned a lot of myths. There's a thing called academic humility. And if you're in the academic field and you make a mistake or you know something and then you realize, oh my gosh, that's not correct anymore. There's a new study saying otherwise. It's okay to say that you changed your mind, and it's okay to say, okay, I thought different, so thank you for the new information. Some folks aren't comfortable saying, oh, I'll change my opinion now because I have different information. And the problem with that is there's authority bias. So as dermatologists, the lay considers what we say almost always as fact, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. Because if you say something false, and then it gets spread so fast.
So yeah, I do understand the frustration. My next question would be, so the Philippine Dermatological Society, I know there are certain guidelines for dermatologists to talk about products, right? Can you tell me what these guidelines are like and how how do you feel the industry is reacting to these guidelines, especially since there are so many derma influencers now?
Okay, I'll try to, kasi I'm biased. I have to state it, I'm biased. I like skincare, I like going online, I like sharing information about brands. So, dun pala ang biased na yung opinion ko. So, I'll take a step back. The Philippine Dermatological Society follows a code of ethics when it comes to social media, and this code is based on PMA. And the most ambiguous part is a physician must not endorse any medical product. So when I'm doing branded collaborations before, I interpreted endorsement as you literally say, buy this, or this is the best, whatever. For me, that's what endorsement means. And medical product, I interpreted it as drugs. So skincare, it doesn't fall under drugs. It's a cosmetic, or if you're going to be strict about it, cosmeceutical. So for me, it's not a health product. Now, when the new code of ethics came out, they followed the FDA definition of a health product. So health product is everything. It's like food, drug, cosmetic, medical devices. Those are the things relevant to the discussion. And when that happens, skincare becomes part of what you call a medical product. So if you're going to follow that definition, then you cannot discuss branded stuff because the code interprets endorsing as any relationship with a brand. So for example, if you have on your page, let's say brand X or brand Y, it doesn't matter if you get paid or not. They would call it as endorsement. For me, I'm against it. You have to have more specifics because it's not good to say a blanket statement like branded is bad, branded is unethical. That's unfair. I think that's unfair for the consumers also because dermatologists, we're the ones who have the best knowledge base to discuss skincare with context. We provide nuance to how to use skincare. And if you take away the brand, then parang anong point? That's how I see it. And if they say na, okay, you just let the content creators do it. But the problem is, content creators, they can have a very huge conflict of interest. So for example, tama ba Liz, if you have the yellow basket and the consumer clicks on the basket and they purchase it, you get a commission?
Yes, you make a commission. Yes.
Yes. So that by in itself, that's already a conflict of interest. Kung ako yung influencer, I'll share all the good stuff about it, even if it's not true, because I'm gonna make a sale.
That's why I personally never have a yellow basket with any of my posts. I don't.
I love it. I love
for
it.
Project Vanity, anyways, it's actually affecting the way that my business model is because that's how everyone makes money now. You have a yellow basket or you have an afflink and you make a sale every single time someone buys, right? And it's a quick way to make money. It's a sure way to make money.
Yes.
Brands always track
agree.
that. They track that. They make sure na you're selling or else they won't work with you in the future. But I decided not to do it. I'm not saying that people should never do it because I understand work is work and there's no sustainable business model yet for a lot of people. I'm just lucky that I've been doing this for 16 years and I have some options, right? And how I'm doing it. But personally, I've decided not to do afflinks or yellow basket because I don't want Project Vanity to be a sales engine only. For sure. I love how our conversation became about becoming beauty educators. So is that the correct term? Or is it like skincare educator specifically?
I like beauty. Parang
I like it, Charles, in general. I mean, of course, a lot of people have problems with being called influencers, as if it were a dirty word. I don't think it's a dirty word. I think it's just the way things are described. But I feel like better if it's beauty educator, especially if you are really specific about the way that you share your information, research your information, vet your information. So I think there's definitely a line there. But anyways, as a dermatologist, what do you think is the best thing that we could do to improve our skincare habits?
I think to help you answer that question, you have to get to know yourself first. You have to know your preferences. For example, are you a minimalist? Are you a maximalist? Do you have certain brand preferences? Do you like scented or unscented products? What's your budget? And then what's your goal? How are you in terms of routine? So for example, me, I tend to be erratic. Like I know I will make promises. I'll run every day. I'll jog every day. I'll eat veggies every day. And then I won't be able to fulfill it. And then I'll feel bad afterwards. So If you know that it's hard for you to follow through, then you shift your mindset. Okay, if I did it 2 times this week, that's a win for me. Those things, if you have that, and if you stick to that, it would be super easy for you to make your own routine. The problem nowadays, kasi people get so lost with what's the best toner. When you go to online forums, they're always gonna ask, what's the best toner? What's the best cleanser? What's the best moisturizer? There's no best. There's only what's best for you. And that's why you have to put that question or that criteria first before you make your skincare routine.
That's great advice, for sure. For me, the best thing I did this entire year, and I've talked about this online, not just for in terms of beauty, but like in everything, is actually seeing a dermatologist. And I don't say this lightly because I feel like ever since my skin was able to improve, like right now I'm not even wearing foundation. This is just blush.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yes, I'm not. And it's because of you. And
sometimes,
and aside from my confidence, and aside from, using way less products than I did before, way less harsher products than I did before, I've saved so much time and money, Erin. As in, I've saved so much time and money. But mostly the time, because every time, for example, I go to the gym, I play tennis, or even just step out, buy groceries, right? I would spend maybe 5 to 7 minutes concealing all of my blemishes here and trying to make sure that it's as invisible as possible. So imagine that 5 minutes turn into 25
it
minutes.
compounds.
Sorry, 35 minutes per week. Tapos, 35 times 4 pa. So how many hours is that already? Like,
Yes.
and then it snowballs into this entire year. And you just save so much time not having to think about it or take care of it. And of course, money. I kept throwing money at the problem. Like, if I use this more expensive product, or I see a rave review, or, I stopped throwing money at it because it's not such a big problem anymore. So I think I've been telling this to the community ever since, but really the best thing you can do for your skin is just see a dermatologist. Of course, if your skin is, normal, wala namang masyadong issues, then, it's fine. You can use your regular skincare. You can use over-the-counter, easily accessible skincare, and it's probably going to be really nice. But if you have problematic skin, then you need to see an expert. I think that's the best thing you can do. You can research, but it's never going to be the same as having someone take a look and be like, oh, okay, you need this, and this, and this, to be able to fix that, because no amount of topical thing can help. And that's what I've discovered.
I love it.
So yeah, I mean, this has been such a great conversation out there. And I'm so glad you were able to join us, because I feel like you're definitely one of the best leaders I admire, obviously, and the one I trust the most, considering what you've accomplished for my skin. So thank you so much for chatting with Project Vanity today.
And that was today's episode of Teka Teka. I recently started my skincare journey just a few weeks ago, and when I was looking for the best products for my skin, it was super overwhelming. Just going through the reviews and trying to see which products will work best for me, which ones won't ruin my skin, and which skincare steps I should even include. And since medyo mahal din ang skincare products, medyo nag-worry din ako na baka bili ako ng bili pero di ko pala masusulit. So, there are so many videos and posts about which steps your skincare routine should have or what order you should be applying certain products. But listening to Doc Erin saying na it's a very individualized journey talaga of knowing yourself, what you want out of the skincare routine, and what steps you can actually commit to, and to also consult dermatologists to know what to look for in your own skincare routine. So again, I'm Tatiana Maligro. This episode was edited by Mark Casillan and produced by Pao Reyes. We hope that this episode also reminded you that when in doubt, it's best to consult the experts. And it would mean a lot if you also share this episode with someone who's also starting out their skincare journey and maybe they're feeling a little overwhelmed. And also, be sure to check out Project Vanity wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening!